there are some customs that are very enjoyable.
Let's not get all riled up about this.
An occasional drink never hurt anyone.
Come on, fill up.
A drink in the evening is just about the best thing I know of.
So with that being said,
Cheers, brother.
God, it was all going on this end here, mate. So I'm so ready for a beer. So yeah, what we got?
Ready for a beer. This could be even more to watch than it actually is to do as well. However, what isn't annoying is tonight's little pick. Our good friends, we've been there together last summer. Siren and their lovely little neighbour, Elusive Brewing, have done this wonderful collab. It's a black.
And I noticed on the can. It's actually a map, isn't it, of the industrial estate that they're both on, which is awesome.
Absolutely, map of the industrial estate, and it's called Zombies Ate My Neighbours, because they are neighbours. Don't know where the zombies come in, but that's what it is. That's what it is. It's a black IPA. Now, I already have an issue, but I'm going to put that aside. Okay. Now, if you know what the P stands for in IPA, hopefully you'll jump on board with my issue.
It makes the B a little confusing to the P.
Yeah. But lovely brewers, great brewers, love Simon, love Elusive. They can do no wrong. So let's give it a go.
Well, I can say, check-in wise, we've got 650. It's 3.76. So, right there. And we should be getting vibrant orange, pine, and berry with a selection of malts, carefully selected malts. So it doesn't say too much about it, but we'll see. And very excitingly, for the first time ever on Cheers Brother history, I can match my beer to my glassware. So, I know. If there's any glassware companies out there, I mean, I guess it's from the brewery, but if anyone wants to custom make us some Cheers Brothers stemless Tekus, you see the jargon there?
Other glassware shapes are available.
But the stemless Teku is best.
Yeah.
I think you said it. It was you that said it sounded like a punk band, wasn't it?
Stemless totally. You could definitely see yourself rocking out to Stemless Teku. Yeah. You're probably wearing some sort of tweed though, maybe with a monocle, but you're rocking,
Oh yeah.
Okay, so issue number one. This isn't going to be one of Ant's rants. It's not going to be one of Ant's rants. But it's not. But you do, for me, you do start like anything as well, like anything at all. You, first of all, you try to know what to expect from it, Like if you had a plate of bacon or something like that, then you kind of know you're expecting those kind of salty, bacony whatevers. If you try bacon and it tasted like banana, then it doesn't matter how nice that banana taste is, you're still a bit like, well, I was kind of expecting bacon. With any darker beer, I just look at it and I'm expecting those sort of roasty, toasty, malty kind of flavors to it. And when you don't get any of that, your mind's sort of going like, where is it? What is it?
I think you're absolutely right. You're kind of looking at it thinking it's really dark, but I would say smell wise, and even on first sip, I'd say it's not your average kind of tropical IPA. It actually it feels a little bit more like there's kind of a roasty malt thing going on. Maybe that is my eyes playing tricks on me, but
I honestly think it is. I think it is because this one I've almost tried to focus just on the smell, on the taste of it, rather than using horizon as well, and tried to kind of zone that out. And I think it does taste like a really good dry. It's very dry, but like a really good IPA. It's got none of that tropical. It's got none of that citrus. It is just a
Little citrus,
well
little.
dry IPA. A really, really good IPA. I just don't know about the. I honestly, my only gripe, and I know that it's going to be a black IPA. I know it's going to be a black IPA, but my only gripe is still the colour. Like, why? I don't understand. There's no logic for me. There's no benefit. You know?
Black IPAs. Let's get it started. I weirdly, I'm not. If you close your eyes and you have a go in the nose, I'm trying. It's not a huge nose either.
Dry hop.
You know?
For me, it's just classic IPA dry hop, and it tastes like a really, really good bitter classic IPA. It's brilliant. It's an absolutely brilliant beer. Why make it? Why have it? Why? 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 I mean, obviously, I just don't know enough, and I'm making a run, which is fine.
I like it. I like it. I think
I like it.
I like it. I think I like being taken on this path of deception, but in a good way. You know, it's like, you know,
Another good name for a
as you said, if you take that bacon reference and you flip it on its head, and you went to eat a banana and it tasted like bacon, you'd be pretty happy with that.
Would you though?
I would. And I am.
No, I do get what you mean. I do get what you mean, and I think it does taste amazing. It does taste absolutely wonderful. And you can see the quality and two amazing brewers. A wonderful, wonderful beer. And out of all the black IPAs I've ever had, this is definitely the best.
It's a really deep, deep, deep red.
It's a deep sort of hazelnutty red, isn't it?
Like almost like you know, the folks at home might not be able to see this unless you see if I can shine up a little, like a torch up to it. Can't really, doesn't really do
Can you
it.
go like behind it? Can you go behind it? Can you talk through it in the back?
Yeah,
there you go. Go down a bit. Go down a bit. There you go. Look, there's your man.
So it's kind of like a deep cherry red.
Nice.
And I do get, you know, I do get some sort of darker malts for an IPA. There's some.
I don't think you do.
I do.
I honestly, I know what you're saying, buddy, but I don't think you do.
You think I'm just tricked by the colour?
I honestly think it's a trick of the senses, and I'd love to get other people's opinion on this. You know, go out and try a black IPA of any kind, and I'll tell you what's interesting, and I've done this before, is to just drink it straight out of the can. So you don't even get to look at it. And I'm pretty confident if you did just drink this straight out of the can, then you wouldn't, and you did it sort of as a blind test. What I'm saying is a blind taste test, aren't I? That's what anybody normal brain say. What you're talking about, Darren, is a blind taste test. But blind taste test, I honestly don't think that you could tell that this was a black IPA. I think you'd just be like, it's a classic dry hop IPA. I mean, you can't. Yeah, I mean, I think it's an excellent beer. It's a really good beer. But
it's definitely malty for an IPA, but that's not unusual for a pale either to have a slightly malty base.
Yes, you expect some more, don't you? Really.
And it's got. I mean, it says here, orange, pine, and berry is what they're saying, and I'm definitely getting that like really deep berry in the very back, but pine definitely.
It's got some good depth, but then, I mean, 6.2%. So you've got to expect, you know, some of the weight to come through of that gravity. Anyway, you've got to expect some of that alcohol sort of.
Yeah, maybe that's where the berry is coming from.
But it's I don't know. There's obviously something that I think something I'm missing. with these, because it is something that's sort of coming back into fashion again. And I've seen quite a few
Well,
really.
there's a ongoing campaign to bring it back. I mean, Andy from Elusive is actively, doing hashtag. I think hashtag. Oh, I should probably get the hashtag right, just in case anyone wants to join that. But hashtag BIPA come back, Black IPA come back. So BIPA come back. So yeah, obviously there's a campaign to get it back.
Well, yeah, there must be a reason, and it's, don't get me wrong, really like the beer, really like it. I'd really like it if it was. I'd really like it if it was golden. I really like it if it was amber. Um, but it's just that question of why, why go for that color? Why deliberately go for the color? Is there something else that's on with the process that has to be like that? For me,
Yeah,
I tasted very very similar beers, which have the same sort of flavor profile. A really, really well hopped classic IPA, absolutely brilliant, smooth, crisp, got depth to it, really, really bitter, really, really dry, absolutely wonderful. But I'm looking at it and I'm thinking I should be getting roasty, toasty, malty,
yeah.
watery vibes, and you just don't.
No, you know what? The more I drink into it, the more I'm sort of sniffing it, drinking it, and it's kind of going through all of my senses and warming up a bit. You are right. It's. I mean, I'm getting that deep berry in the background and a bit of the booziness, and I am getting, I'm getting the malt base through, but it doesn't. There's nothing kind of stouty or portery about it.
Though, I wonder if.
But it's not supposed to be either. It's an IPA. It is an IPA.
It is an IPA.
So why is it black? I wonder. I mean, this is. We probably should have researched before we jumped on this episode. Sorry, guys.
It's so out of character. It'd be so out of character for us to research.
Yeah, I mean, if you know why black IPA is black or why it needs to be black, let us know. I don't. I particularly,
it's good.
It doesn't make a difference.
What I would like to know, though, what I would like to know as well, is that if you were somebody who really, really didn't like to drink dark beers, so you really don't like your porters and your stouts, and that, and you actually, somebody like gave you this, would you just instantly go, I don't like dark beers? Or would you try it and your brain goes, I don't like dark beers, so you don't like it? Or
and likewise, if you're,
I really like this particular beer. Does it appeal to people like Dan? Who even this sort of darker bitters, the rye ales, he's just like, no, I don't like them. Don't like them, not for me at all. Much more pale, much more IPA, much more whatever. If he was to drink this, I mean, for me, flavor profile wise, I think he'd really like this. I mean, he'd probably give it a 4, but close to.
maybe a
but
3.
But would that be because of him looking at it and go, dark beer, no, not for me? Or would he actually be of that thing where his brain goes, it's the smell, it's the taste, it's, the other things that are sort of combined to override that original prejudice, as it were. Not prejudice is probably the wrong word, but that initial feelings that he's got towards all the darker beers that he's had up until that point. It's a really interesting sort of market effect, isn't it, your black IPA? Because I wouldn't say that I'm normally like a fan. I mean, we picked this one up more to do with the breweries rather than the actual beer. I think that's probably fair to say.
Yeah.
We love Simon, we love Elusive. We visited both the breweries, and brilliant work that they've done and continue to do. So support them to the hill. And just love that they've done a collab, and it just happened to be a black IPA, so why not give it a go? But I would genuinely steer clear of them, really, if given a choice, because I don't really know where they fit.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess when you go to rate a beer like this, I guess you've got to ask yourself, is it what it says on the tin? First and foremost. Well, yeah, it is.
It is. Very good.
You can't mark it down because it's a black IPA, because that's exactly what it is, you know. So you kind of almost, I guess, in my eyes, you have to rate it as an IPA and go by the flavor profiles they're giving you know, which is orange, pine, and berry, and you know, definitely getting that pine, getting the resin, getting the a little bit of the booze coming through, you know, a little
Yeah.
bit of that citrus vibe as well, and the pine. So
Mm. Oh no, I don't. Don't get me wrong. I don't hold any sort of like umbrage against them brewing it at all. And as I said before, this is definitely the best. I've only had 5 or 6, who knows? But very very few black IPAs. Probably for the reason of the ones that I've tried, I've really sort of struggled with to sort of understand why why the black IPA, why does this beer sort of exist, and not got the IPA, not really got this kind of sort of any portery flavors from it, not really, they've all kind of been a bit in betweeny kind of beers with no real character to them at all, and no real joy. This does definitely have a lot of character and a lot of joy, and it's a really good beer. Um, but I don't see that the flavor profiles are really that they're not sort of singing. There's not really anything amazing.
you know what I'd be really interested in is a pale porter. Because I
Well,
think that'd be way harder to do.
Tiny Rebel, didn't they?
Did they?
The eggnog porter,
Oh, that was quite pale, wasn't it? Yeah.
very pale,
Terrible beer.
awful beer. There you go. No, that's not your answer, but yeah,
Yeah.
no. I mean, I guess it's
So
more.
I guess, I mean, that way around, I can only imagine you do like what chefs would do for a consomme or something, like some technique to make it paler. Whereas this one, I guess it's just the malts you use which make the beer darker.
Yeah.
You know, they're not going to flavor it, are they? Or sorry, color it, are they? I mean,
No,
it's got to be the malt profile.
must be. It must be. Yeah.
But whether that malt profile makes it taste that much different, mm, I guess I would love to try this beer with your classic kind of malt profile that you'd use in a hazy IPA and compare. That's the only way you can tell if there's a difference in taste, really, by
Of
making
course
the
it is.
exact same beer with the exact same ingredients, other than the malt, which changes to make it paler.
Hmm. Yeah. No, after. I mean, there must be a difference. There must be something. There must be an extra something that I'm just not. I just don't understand. And I'm sure if we actually speak to somebody with any sort of beer knowledge, then they'd be like, "This is why you have a black IPA, and this is what you should get from it." Like me walking around an art exhibition, just like no, pretty pictures. Whereas when somebody's actually explaining it to you, then kind of get into it a bit more and see what's going on. So, yeah, that'd be great
Yeah,
if
and
somebody could
we
actually
you
tell
know
us.
we continue to learn. So as I said, if you know anything in the comments, just if you want to chip in and let us know, drop some geeky facts on us. We always like to geek out over beer, so please do
Educated,
let us
happy to
know.
be educated. Yeah,
Or, Andy, you're trying to bring back the black IPA. We're more than happy to chat about it as much as you want, mate. If you want to get in touch, um, I guess that brings us to the question: What are you rating this one?
I'm going to let you go first tonight, buddy.
Is this one of the things where you have to write down your answer and then we go from there?
No,
Um,
I was, to be honest, I was absolutely dead set from the very first sip, first smell. I knew exactly what I was going for, and so I was just kind of wondering if um, the more you go through it, the more you sort of um, smell it, taste it, the kind of warmer it gets. Is it second half kind of beer? Does the profile change a little bit as it sort of warms up and becomes more kind of room temperature? Um, but I definitely had a first sip from this is a that beer, and I'm just going to stick with it right until this very point. But I'm just really interested to see kind of where you're going to go with it.
3.5.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a surprise.
What did you think straight off the bat?
I was going to give it a 4. But that's because
Mm.
of that's purely based on the smell and the flavour. And I had to get rid of the black IPA-ness of it and all the prejudice that I personally have that's around that, and just judge it on that. And this flavor profile is so far up my street. Just
This
that
is
real,
such a you beer. That is something I would say. As soon as I tried it, I thought this has got Ant's name written all over it because of. It's just a little bit too bitter for my liking. I mean, it's okay. It's still smooth, but it's 6.5. It's just a little probably on the more bitter and boozy side for the gravity, which I tend to. I think it's a good beer, but for me, it's not. For me, a 4 is really, it's, as I've said it before, it's on the road to a 5, and it's like that, really, really, really good. And the 3.75 is kind of is more my flavor profile, which is a good, really good beer, but not quite there. It's very much kind of I don't want to say middle of the road because it's not that. It's just a solid IPA,
yeah.
which is. Would I have another one? Yeah, definitely. I know what Siren are capable of, and I know what Elusive are capable of.
Mm.
Have I had incredible beers from both of them? Yes.
So are you just on that though, quick? Are you sort of? Do you think you had a preconception in mind based on the brewers, based on they were collabing, based on that's actually gone against them now?
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, potentially. I think with me, I mean, generally anything Siren or anything Elusive, they're only 20-minute drive for me. They're probably my closest brewery. I mean, we cycled there, didn't we, from my house, but pre lockdown. And I think we both gave one of their beers a 5 straight off the bat. And I don't, a 3.5 is very rare for these guys for me. And yeah, whether or not it's sort of pale black, red,
In the nicest possible way. This one, it's very for something that should be something that's on paper quite sort of complex and interesting. It is very very one dimensional.
yeah,
I just happen to really quite like that dimension.
right.
So maybe they've got quite lucky with me. And I don't think that I think this maybe is an issue potentially for them with this particular beer. Is that there's probably not many sort of new school craft drinkers who would like this flavor profile as much as a standard, I think standard, but a standard 6%, IPA that was brewed by a really good brewer.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean, look, so between us, I'm a 3.5, you're a 4. That average is 3.75. The check-ins, the average is 3.76. So between the two of us is literally the average. So I think
yeah,
there's probably a few
literally, yeah.
people that have marked it up. I can see a couple of people that I'm friends with have marked it 4.5. And I can see some other
Ridiculous.
people.
That's ridiculous. Well, no, I can. No, okay, fair enough. Sorry. If you want to do 4.5, absolutely fine. But
And then I see a couple of people that have either not even rated it 1.7, 3.5, like myself.
1.7, did you say?
1.75. Unfortunately, it was somebody who didn't even write a comment on why that was, and that's our pet peeve, isn't it? Here on the show, it's like if you're going to mark something below a 3, even like I say, if you're going to mark something below a 4 or even a 3.5, give it a reason. Give it a reason.
I think you can easily, if you can give a beer a 3, and if you can't think of anything to say about it because it's that average, then you can just mark it in as a 3. If you're heading towards a 2, then because the brewers look at this stuff. They look at it. It's literally like somebody. It's like if you owned a business and somebody went on to Google reviews or Trustpilot or whatever, and gave you 1 star and didn't say anything at all, and that because that affects them how people look at your business. It affects it because you see that average score and and you go, well, what did we do wrong? We need to know where we went wrong so then we can improve. There's no point in just going, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's fine, but why? Like why? What was it about it? If you're saying I don't like black IPAs, that's fine. It's not a beer for you. It's not a beer for you because it is a black IPA. If there's a particular reason, if there's something about it, or some sort of issue, you have to comment because otherwise you're just a silent annoyance. You're not.
So I mean, I guess moral of the story is, guys, if you're on Untappd and you want to rate something below a 3, just write why it's below a 3.
I'm not going to rant. I'm not going to go on rants.
Yeah, I mean, no. You mean anymore?
Sorry, guys.
The ant rat. The ant rat.
Hey, look, there's no song because it's not even a thing.
Well, there might be when this is released, there might be some music to that.
And with that said,
yes,
I'm going to go and have some dinner.
Lovely having a beer with you, bro.
So until next time.
Until the next beer, bro. Cheers.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers, brother.
There are some customs that are very enjoyable.
Let's not get all riled up about this.
An occasional drink never hurt anyone.
Come on, fill up.
A drink in the evening is just about the best thing I know of.
So with that being said,
Cheers, brother.